are live.
Okay, call meeting to order of the Winterport Town Council for 8/19/2025. Roll call. Coop.
Here.
Ann here. Tammy's here. Steve is excused. Corey.
Here.
Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I just want to sing My Country 'Tis of Thee after that. We used to do that in school. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So second.
And the agenda items, this is a workshop, so we're going to be going over the policy on requesting and providing funding for community groups, not for profit. This is one that I kind of wanted to talk about because the way we discussed it last week or last month was that we were going to make a bunch of changes that I got thinking about, and we really don't need. We already have a decent policy in effect. The only thing we need to do is have something, do they request the money or do we just have it sent out? And I think it should be requested. Just send like an email to Casey and just say we just to formally request it so we know it's been asked and received. My personal thought on this is everybody goes through the budget process. And so they've already been approved, so they shouldn't have to come and have receipts and all that as well. They should just have to be able to request the money, and they have that limited amount, and they can use it as they budgeted it. So I just think it's too much to ask people. To me, it's akin to making them come and beg for their money. I do agree that, like the cemetery, they ask for a lot of money, and we have to but we also go through the budget process, and before we do have to give the financials. That is not that's not what do you call it? It's a proper ask because we're asking for a lot of money. Same with the ambulance. They're asking for a lot of money. They should have to provide financials. But when you go through the budget process, what I will say is I think it's fair for anybody who's asking for money to have to come before the budget committee and request that money and say and have a budgeted amount that they can hand out. And that way the budget committee can ask questions and get their answers right then, but they shouldn't have to prove that they're a 501c or anything, especially if they're only asking for, a little bit of money. And most of the groups here, everybody knows who y'all are. So, I mean, if there's a new one, that's a little different, but anything that we're already established, I don't think that's necessary. So, and that's just my opinion on that. And I would strongly recommend that we keep the policy that we have in place and then talk about having all the departments go to the budget committee on specified days. And those who won't show up or send at least a representative will not get the funding. And I think that's fair. But I don't think it's fair to ask them to show receipts and all that after we've already gone through the budget process and they've been approved. So anybody else have anything else to say about that? Agree, disagree?
Tend to agree.
I don't see why, if we are asking them to come in front of the budget committee, then I can understand it's almost like a dual time that they're asking for funds. My only concern is, but you already hit on it, as far as like new people or new associations or committees that might be coming in asking for money.
Yeah.
Um,
They would have to show that they are a 501c3. That's only fair. If we haven't heard of them before and they suddenly pop up and say, hey, I'm a 501c3 and I want this money, then, I mean, in that case, because we have them all listed on the town website. We know who all our organizations are already. So at least we should. And if we don't, then we'll have to talk to Casey about making sure that everybody's listed up there. You know, but that should always be kept up to date. So that's my thing. I think we might be able to add to that policy that and I think that's more than fair, especially this, like the cemetery, the library, ambulance. They should come before and all the department heads, we should all have to go before the board.
And
The budget committee.
And what about, you hit the three big ones right there, the cemetery, the library, and the ambulance, but should they also be providing something as the budget year goes on, as far as what they're spending their money on?
If they've come before I think it's only good practice that like the ambulance and the cemetery, I think providing a set of financials, and making sure that we're not so much that we're spending the money, because once you have the budget money, then you spend it on what you're supposed to spend it for. If you happen to need something that comes up, an emergency, if you can, because this happens all the time, you have to kind of take from one to do another because something came up that you weren't expecting. So, I think they should absolutely have to provide financials. Yes. Throughout the year. I think we should keep the same policy that's here now. And I believe it says they have to provide them at least quarterly.
Okay.
What do you all think? I mean, are you in agreement, disagreement? Yes, no, maybe?
Thinking,
Do you have that policy?
It's on my computer.
Probably online too, if I can find it.
I think there's a folder in there that says policies. And I think we had said it was like $10,000. And that we provide, it only left like 3 of us that have to do it. And that's the cemetery, ambulance, and library. Anybody over $10,000 had to do it. And I do think that's fair. But like the women's club, they only get, $1,000. I mean, for $1,000, anything under that $10,000, I don't even think they should have to come in before the board. But it's,
well, I think they should come in, I think everybody needs to come in before the board, no matter what.
For 1,000, but
I mean,
that's not a sticking point for me. If that's the way everybody feels, that's fine. I just don't feel that anybody should have to ask for, have to show receipts and do what we were proposing the last time. I just don't think that's right because it's already been approved. That's my biggest thing. But if you think everybody should come, I mean, you got the American Legion that gets $500 every year, and that's because they buy the flags to keep on the Veterans Cemetery. And the thing with that is that's a law. If the American Legion didn't put those flags out, the town would have to do it because that's by law.
Well, on the smaller scale too, even the meeting house only gets $750. But I still think that,
to
you
1
know,
o'clock.
yeah, to wind the clock, but still, I mean, I think that they should
Come
appear
in
and
and out.
at least say what it is, you know,
Yeah.
I think if anybody's gonna ask for money, they should
Okay,
appear before
that's
the
fine.
budget committee,
That makes sense.
you know,
It's pretty simple.
right.
Say what their plans are, what they're intending on doing
Yeah.
and all that.
But even the smaller ones, like the New Hope and all them.
Yeah.
What do you do for Winterport? Like,
Absolutely.
show us, tell us what.
Yep.
Because a lot of those, we have no idea. We
Yeah.
give them money and we don't know
Yeah.
if anyone gets support in town or not.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. So so do we want to change the policy? Did you find it?
I'm looking.
Sorry, I did not expect that my computer would not. Come on. Jeez. So I think if we just change the policy, we'll have to go over it. Maybe we can do it in the next meeting and just make that change if everybody's agreeable to it.
Yeah, I think that would, and we can talk about it more next time, obviously, before we
So-
do it, but that makes sense.
Do you want to table it until the next
Well, we can,
meeting? Or do you want to,
we kind of got to table it anyways.
Yeah.
Until we get a computer that works.
I'd like to make a motion that we table, this policy to
Yeah,
continue
I know.
the discussion.
I don't think we have.
Oh, we
I
don't,
don't- we
have an
have to hold on
ordinance?
to it.
Okay,
I'll second it.
It's a
though.
it's a policy.
okay.
So we're just gonna table it until the policy on requesting funds for the 501c3s and other organizations that request money until the meeting of September
Second.
2nd. Okay, next is water conservation the water preservation ordinance that we wanted to go over. Actually, the Fernal Field bid packet,
Yes, ma'am.
that one. Okay, that's you guys, right?
Yes.
Okay, do we want to change and have them go first? Or do we want to just keep going in order?
I don't have I don't have the
Sorry.
agenda in front of me, so I can't.
It's the water and then.
And if I don't feel, that's fine, we can change it around, that's no big deal.
You want to change that? Does anybody want to make a motion to put Fernal Field bid packet before the water ordinance?
I'll make a motion that we put number 2 instead of bump Fernal Field up into the number 2 spot.
A second.
Okay, so we'll, 1 second. Okay. You're kind of chomping at the bit, what's up?
She is. I was just wondering if I could ask a question on the 501c3,
Sure.
just so I'm clear. So it's not a done deal? Wait, I'm tabling it
We're tabling it until the meeting of September 2nd.
to decide if
To
we're
decide.
leaving it the way it is or
Yes,
changing it? Okay, so it's gonna go back to the drawing
it's
board
gonna go back to the drawing board.
to make sure.
Yep. Yep.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, now, can we, does anybody else have any comments about that, the policy? Okay, you're up.
Good evening. Would you like me to stand at the podium?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Crystal Lancaster. I'm the leaseholder and driveway manager of Fernald Field Driveway. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes to speak this evening. Now, in no way do I want to apply pressure because I realize your jobs are already hard enough. I just really want to emphasize the time constraints that the driveway is on. Especially, I think that we probably share a similar time constraint here. We already have sponsors approaching us for the 2026 season. We already have companies that are chomping at the bit to partner with us. We have folks that want to plan events for 2026. And it's hard for me to hold them off to say, we actually don't have a lease in place because we're going through the bid process. Now, no favoritism, obviously. I'm just saying that the sooner we have clear, concise bid protocols in this packet put together, the sooner we can hit the ground running. And although Russ and I are already 90% of the way prepared, having listened to the meeting last month, I realized it's a privilege to be a participant even of your workshops, and I realized it's brainstorming in real time, and a lot of the things that were mentioned in that workshop probably were spitballing ideas and suggestions and really working together to come up with something that would work for everyone. There's just a few things that I'd like to note in regard to the public access area. We think it's a fabulous idea. We'd just like in the bid packet that the location not be specific. And in my email that I sent to you all, you'll see it at some point if you haven't already. I just emphasize that if we could just be flexible in the bid packet on location of the public access area, I think it would make everybody's lives a bit easier, especially when placing the bid. I don't know if that's possible or not. And then any environmental concerns that were discussed at the last workshop, I actually had a wonderful meeting here before your workshop started, and I think that I provided everything needed to provide clarity around what we do as a dragway to make sure that we are keeping your environment, animals, wood, grass, everything safe. There's this negative connotation that just because we're a dragway and we burn rubber and we make smoke and we, have alcohol fueled cars, etc., that we might be over polluting, and I assure you that we're not. We take care of Fertile Field just as you all would like us to. So I realized it was a lot to throw out there. It was just a lot easier for us to be here in person tonight to express this to you all as opposed to being on the phone. And we would love to answer any questions that you might have that might help make the bid packet process a little easier for you. But we realize we are just one contender in probably a large sea of those that will be submitting bids to you. So just trying to be an ally and helpful as best we can. So thank you so much. I appreciate each of you.
As Secretary, may I just ask one clarification? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
please, Miss Ann.
Okay, thank you. You said the public access.
Yes.
Do you want us to be specific about that, or you don't want us to be? That's
you-
what I was a little,
Oh, I'm sorry. I
That's
should have
okay.
been more clear. So I feel as though it sounds like the general consensus is there is a need or want for a specific public access area at Fertile Field,
Mhm.
which is entirely it can be done in multiple ways in different variations. I think it's just the location specifically. I think in last month's workshop, there was talk about a public access area off of a certain trail, and I believe that trail in mention actually impedes with our shutdown area at the dragway.
I found that out afterwards, yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
So entirely fine, just in the bid packet, if we could say it is a requirement to have a public access area of some location, and then add, voluntary details in the bid per individual or organization. I think that would be a lot better than saying, hey, you need to have a public access area at the end of the driveway shutdown, because as you can
No.
imagine,
That would not be good,
No,
no.
I mean, on a weekly basis, we are stopping for wildlife and the occasional ATV, which we're happy to do. I just would want the general public to have the best possible area and the safest area for them to enjoy. And I don't think that would be it.
No,
So.
it would not.
No.
The gate's almost open.
Yes, and I do want to mention, I think there was a bit of confusion, not recently, just in past, and for anyone that's listening. My brother actually opens the gate and closes the gate every night for public access at Fertile Field, because we feel it's important that the public still be able to enjoy the facility when racing is not in operation. So from sunrise to sunset, every day, the gates are open for those to go in and enjoy. We love nothing more than seeing the bikes and the dogs and just those little walking groups getting out and enjoying a stroll around the driveway property, or Fertile Field rather. So know that it's already an accessible area, but if your bid requires a dedicated space, we are happy to accommodate. We just want to make the suggestion that at the end of the shutdown is probably not the most ideal. No. Miss Ann, did I answer your question?
You did, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry I wasn't clear.
That's okay, no.
Any other questions?
Question from the audience?
Question from my fellow audience?
Is that okay?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm Kelsey Sullivan, I'm a
Hi.
Winterport Conservation.
oh, you have to direct your questions to me.
Yeah, gotcha. Kelsey Sullivan, Winterport Conservation Committee member, vice chair.
Yep.
My question is related to the definition of the shutdown area. I think I know what it is, but if there could be clarity, just so I understand what the shutdown
The shutdown.
term? That's-
Oh, that, well, you could answer it better than I can.
Am I allowed?
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank you. So when you pull into Fernald Field, when you're looking straight ahead, you're seeing what's called the north runway. And then to your right would be the east runway, as we call it. So in perspective to that, to your left would be what we call the west runway. And at the very end of the west runway is what we consider our shutdown area. It's a paved, dedicated space where vehicles have the opportunity to slow down at a gradual rate. And then they make a left-hand turn up what's called the return road. And at the very end of that pavement, you'll see an ATV sign that indicates a trail that goes through at the very, very end. It never impedes on race day per se. There is enough space. We're not necessarily worried about a collision, but to have a public space dedicated to access would not be ideal, regardless of the spacing of that area.
In the off season, it's busy for snowmobiles.
Yes, very busy. Snowmobiles, ATVs, regardless of racing season, it is heavily utilized as far as we know.
Okay.
So we just looking out for the general public and those that would want a dedicated space, we have other suggestions on where would probably be a better fit. And of course, still on the Fernald Field property.
Great, thank you.
Oh, you're
Could I
welcome.
follow up with a further question? When there's reference to shutdown, I think I understand it's beyond the pavement. It's into the grass and into the woods, is that, or is there a terminus that's in the mind of the driveway folks, a safe sort of, that's really the end, that's kind of what
If I may, when you're at the drag strip property, you'll see dark strips where we actually are under power. That's where we lay rubber down for traction and all that. And at the finish line is where that dark stuff stops and it turns back to old colored asphalt. That is our shutdown from there until the wood line.
Okay.
So it's all paved. It doesn't impede with the woods at all. We are slowing down on pavement and making a turn, hopefully before the woods. If we're going into the woods, we're in trouble.
Yes.
If you could draw on a map, not that you have to do it right now, you'd be able to draw a line in it, would it cross pavement as the end of the shutdown area?
I can show you after the meeting if you'd like.
Well, I have a map here.
Oh, okay.
So,
Is that okay to?
sorry.
I wanna
I don't
jump
want to
in.
go off the rails here.
Yeah, so,
I can-
this is the
I
area.
think you all have the packet.
this is the area that I'm referring to, right?
Yeah.
And these are the dark spaces that Russ is just referencing. You can see all of this is very light, old
Yeah.
pavement.
Yeah.
And then the wood line is way far back here.
Yeah.
We don't come close. So, and then
If
this
you
is,
do a line somewhere, it would be in here.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, so
Oh,
if I'm just utilizing this, may I draw on this?
Well, no.
Mary says no.
We
No,
don't
you
have-
cannot draw on
we
I
have
gotta
to
see it.
move on.
Okay, sorry.
But let's see.
right here.
That's all, I just hear.
Hang
The line went into the
One
woods.
for everybody.
No.
Okay.
Oh,
And I want one to get to Steve. How do I make sure one gets to Steve?
Give it to I can deliver it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Trying to get back, that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
so if I was to draw,
So you wouldn't, you
Are we
wouldn't,
up? Can
actually-
we take our turn now?
what's that?
Are we done?
I can,
oh,
can,
no.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So, no,
Not
we're
yet.
still,
Sorry.
Don't rush us, please.
so you're not gonna go against the, you wouldn't be going that far anyway.
No,
That
but
would be, but it just wouldn't be good to have anybody right there either way.
no, it's just honestly, as a precaution, like our safety director has a bird's eye view from our tower, and we'll see in the distance, it will look like just a little ATV, and we'll still shut down as a safety precaution, even though the distance is very wide. It's
Okay.
just not safe. It's not ideal. So,
Okay.
say, if you hypothetically were to have a public access area just inside of the wood line, it still wouldn't be ideal, because you're not in super close proximity, but it's still too big of a risk.
Yeah, it's a risk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're better
that's
off
all.
going,
The wood line on the opposite runway would be
yeah,
very ideal because we don't use that.
right, Russ. Oh, Marianne says no,
Okay.
well,
We
Well,
can disagree.
either
oh,
way.
yes, of course we can. No, we
Yeah,
can,
no,
we
it's
can
a-
disagree.
No, it's fine. That's, now I see where you're talking about, and
Yeah.
that's where, I didn't realize it was quite so far.
Yes,
But that's okay. Thank you. for
thank
that.
you.
Just in thinking about the issue of public safety, Um, It may be important for you all to think about the responsibility of the lessee to ensure that. So that if there is a breakdown area, then that area ends and is some sort of barrier there
Oh, absolutely.
at that point in the runway.
Well, that,
So
well,
that may well be a way to resolve both of the concerns.
yeah,
Oh,
well,
sure.
that, okay, that, because this is getting way more than what was ever anticipated.
I'm sorry if I
Thought about. No. Our thought, well, at least for me, myself, is that the public would still be able to access it. And already they are, because you leave it open so they can access. And then have a spot where they can go and, if they have cars or whatever, you know, those little
Oh, so, yeah,
something like that. Nothing, doesn't have to be anything big or anything fancy. Nobody
Oh.
even, I don't even know. if
here I was
anybody would-
brainstorming about like a community garden or a dedicated like dog space or anything like that.
So
Well,
we're
that
talking
sounds
like
really
the model
good, too.
airplane guys and stuff
Well,
like that.
that might be good too, but I know that with people, my personal thought was because people were going out to, I went out one day and I saw people out there with their, planes.
Yes,
And
so,
they're flying their planes and then they had their own little drag cars,
yes,
you know,
so
and they were racing and it was kind of cool.
it's wonderful. I will say each one of those individual or respectful groups of folks that either are into the model planes, the RC cars, we have some go-karters. I mean, they've all reached out to me. What are they?
Drones.
Sorry, oh, and drones.
Yeah, the
yes.
drones. That was
Drones
the
is
one,
as well. The
drones.
drones are really popular.
Yeah.
These different clubs or individuals and entities, they've all reached out to me and they're all on site with permission.
Yeah.
Even though they don't need it, they were courteous enough to reach out to me. And
Yeah.
it's so wonderful because then I get really excited when I see them there and I just encourage everybody to participate if they want. So to your
I mean,
point,
it wasn't that, just that people, if they want to be able to go out there and do something, they should be able to have at
They
least a
already
little bit of the access.
yeah, they already are.
That's all.
So it's really wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you,
I appreciate you. Oh, Mr. Coop.
Cooper.
It's not a problem with those guys, but if there's a new person in, they might be totally different, not want to allow anyone in, no matter. if they're racing or
Absolutely,
not,
we'll
like,
have to,
Totally different.
yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to see what's what. I mean, we can't make any decisions on that. We have to work with whoever.
But we can definitely make it a non-designated spot, like just
Right.
a
Just
spot.
a,
A
yeah,
spot.
yeah, a
And
spot,
exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Coop, for bringing us full circle. That's exactly what I
Yeah.
was suggesting. So
yes.
I won't take any more time. If we are concluded on this subject, we will dismiss ourselves stage left.
Yeah. Trace left.
To my,
Yeah, here. You have to go out this way, I think.
oh, I can't go that way. I was gonna post something on the community board.
I think it's
You
locked
can,
up.
it's all locked up out there. So,
All right.
yes, Mary
If
Ann.
I just encourage you all to think carefully. Once you lease the property is their responsibility. So what happens and who's responsible if someone using the using the space that has been leased, gets hurt? Who's responsible? Is the lessee responsible? This is a legal question. I have no idea what the answer is. But once you lease, the lessee then becomes responsible for pretty much everything that happens during their period, the period of the lease. So I would just encourage you to explore that.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know if you've had an opportunity. There is distinct clarification in the current lease that was signed that might help answer your question. I apologize, I don't have a copy of it with me today. I think you're bringing up a really good point. It is a great risk when somebody leases such a large space. I'm speaking to that from personal experience. And the insurance companies as well acknowledge that. So, good point.
Okay, we can.
Okay,
Move
thank you
on
so much
now.
for your time
Thank
tonight.
you.
It was great to see everybody.
Thank
Take
you, you
care.
too.
Thank you.
Crystal, I'm sorry, can I get
Oh,
on?
of course, Miss Ann.
No, if you wanna leave that with me, I'm gonna be coming down to the town office tomorrow. I'd be more than happy to post something if you need to.
You're the best. It's just 2 flyers if you
Yeah,
wouldn't mind.
sure.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
really appreciate
No,
it.
no problem.
All right, take
Okay.
care, everyone.
Okay,
See
see
See you
ya.
guys soon.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay, we're up, right?
it is the Water Conservation Committee, right?
No,
Was that,
no.
whoops, wait a minute. I'm sorry, my phone went
This,
off.
The Conservation Commission asked last.
Wait,
Yeah,
one
it's,
second, Mary Ann,
sorry,
hold on.
wait a minute. We were gonna do we were gonna talk about.
This is in
water
regards
conservation.
to the Vernal Field.
Okay, so is this still in
regards
regard?
to the Vernal
Okay.
Field lease package.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So Casey is going to present our recommendations to you, and Kelsey, I do this all the time. It's dyslexia. Dyslexia. I'm a dyslexic. Anyway, Kelsey is going to present to you our recommendations, and then we will entertain any questions from you based on what we are recommending.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
Good to go?
Okay.
Thanks for your time. Kelsey Sullivan, Vice Chair, Winterport Conservation Commission. I believe Mary Ann had to pack it out to each of you. So I'll read this verbatim, but beforehand, Mary Ann kind of preferenced it, but this is just in relation to the Vernal Field lease. I'm pretty new to the process, but I understand it's gonna be potentially an annual lease, so year round. So we were wanting to get some input into just basically, I should have put a dash after Vernal Field lease, but access to the natural areas. That's our interest. So specific to that, so I'll read the recommendation. The Conservation Commission has the following recommendations. The town will reserve, create, and maintain a public parking area for resident use at the western end of the east-west runway, and reserve and create a continuous corridor to the natural areas along the western and northwestern forest edges of the east-west and north-south runways. And the town will reserve, create, and maintain a public parking area and continuous corridor to the natural areas along the eastern and northeastern forest edge of the north-south runway for resident use. Number 2, the leasee will ensure their customers will leave and place all resources in the natural areas surrounding the runways, to include but not limited to dead and down trees and branches, dead standing trees, plants, rocks, and will not disturb animal habitats nor use the natural areas for dumping of any kind. Number 3, the leasee will restore all leased areas to their original state upon termination of the lease and will repair any damage to the natural areas surrounding the leased property. Number 4, the leasee may be fined for any damage to the natural areas surrounding the leased property. We hope to see these recommendations included in the lease, as they will protect our public lands and provide access for resident use of our public lands. Respectfully, Kelsey Sullivan, Vice Chair. And there's a map attached and also the tax map as well. And so I could just real quick run you through the map. The green is the highlighted access area on the western side. So the western pin says west access. We envision an area to park and then to be able to walk through that green corridor all the way around to access. And then it gets, there's a lot of east-west, northwest kind of stuff, but basically a corridor that allows access to the woods and the natural areas on the west side, as well as on the east side, another pin, east access with some parking. We weren't sure about where that would be specifically, but a recommendation to consider parking there as well. And then just in the way I put it, I don't think I referenced it, but potentially a consideration would be a 30-foot corridor, which would hug the woods and then have some grass that you would basically have access to. So that's our recommendation.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, Marion.
Just a follow-up. I think it's going to be really important to designate two specific areas, because we have two specific sets of natural areas. If you look at the tax map, which is also included, you get a better idea of the actual land that is part of what is called the natural area. The runways and the grassy areas around the runways are not part of the natural area. But the natural area is actually larger than the runways. So that's what we want to preserve, is that access to those areas. We have not yet, and that is on our, on our priority list, begun to develop trails in that area. But we need to be sure that there's going to be public access to those areas. And so the importance of having a specific site that people will know year after year after year, this is where I go. Not changing it every year for someone else's convenience, but specifically having a designated public area that they know they can go and they can park and they can walk. There is beautiful wetlands up in there with all kinds of animal, wildlife on the western side. We haven't even yet had a chance. Kelsey, have you ever explored the eastern side of the natural? Okay, so maybe you could tell them a little bit about what's up in there. And that's what we want to preserve access to. So,
Yes.
With that being said, like say the Fernfield Dragway gets it again. I mean, there'd be 6 days a week that, or 5 days, depending if they were, that you guys would have access. If they were racing, I feel that, if they lease it and they're racing, then probably the access, in my opinion, should be like denied while they're racing. You got 5 other days, would that make sense?
Right,
but the lease is gonna be year round.
Well, yeah, but
yeah,
the odds of
7
them
days a
racing
week.
7 days a week are probably pretty slim, or whatever they're doing. Like,
It doesn't matter though, Corey, whether they're actually there or not. If they're leasing it for the year, that's theirs.
well, yes, I understand, but if they're racing, like say Fernfield Dragway gets it again, and they're racing Sunday, but they don't race Monday through Friday, that'd give you a 5-day window, and they're fine with access, or the new leasees. I'm just saying, whoever leases it, if they're leasing it, and whatever they're doing, I don't feel like you should be walking around where you're putting yourself in harm, no matter what.
yeah, that looks, I agree, that looks a little close. How close is that to the actual field where they're racing?
Well,
You'd be, I think it's 120 feet from
Yeah,
the midline.
that's really close, isn't it? Or is it?
Well,
I mean,
rightfully it should be fine, but what if?
people
Yeah,
are, people
It
are
could be a
walking.
runaway car that,
Yeah, that would be my concern about that.
Yeah.
At least, because I think it's a good idea, as long as it's, and the same with the public access. I think the public access too it's limited to when they're not racing.
Yeah, and in our conversations, thinking outside of whatever's happening, that there's an established area year-round,
Yes,
just in the future. The other thing about that, they race Saturdays and Sundays off, and
yes,
so the weekend is a desired time for everybody, right, because you got free time.
Right.
So
yes.
that's a concern, we would lose, 5 days, Monday through Friday, but a lot of people are working.
Right, but a lot of people go out and walk on the drag strip during the week, and then they don't go down on a Sunday and decide to walk on the drag strip while they're racing down to Hot Top. I think you gotta give a little to get a little.
Are you, from the way you were saying, it sounded like access would be cut off Saturday and Sunday?
Well, if there was racing, I
If they're
feel
racing.
that it
While
would
they're
be,
racing, Yeah.
for safety purposes, but if they're nice enough to allow access, I think, like I say, give a little to get a little kind of deal.
Yep, well, it's us allowing
With
access, right?
the west,
The town,
with the west,
right?
Well,
It would be us putting it in there. The other option too, if it's a safety concern about direction of racing is the east access, which you'd avoid that because the racing all goes that way from the start line and heads west. So maybe that's something to think about is
right, now,
a nice, right. That could be open all the time.
Mhm.
People could just walk because people are just parked in their campers and so that would be away from the racing itself, is east access.
Yeah, exactly. There should be no runaway cars going that way,
I
or
guess.
whatever
Yeah,
happens up there.
Yes,
What's to stop, and I'm not against what you're saying whatsoever, I'm just putting it at as is situation. What happens that you have people that aren't looking to go to the dragway, okay, like you're saying, like proposing,
Yeah.
they wanna go and they wanna walk the trail or walk on that side, maybe on the east side.
Yep.
What's to prevent them from coming into the dragway area and actually watching the dragway itself? And the reason I'm asking that question is because they do charge a fee to go in there.
Yeah,
You know, so are they gonna be losing money by people just adamantly? I think it'd be a nice thing that they go in, because then they'll see what's happening and maybe they might join in the festivities, so to speak.
Yep.
But that's also potential money loss for the dragway, of
Yeah.
people just wandering in.
well, that's a great
That's a good
idea. I think the answer would be, so if we restricted it, right, you said you can't go in this way when it's race day. You have to walk in all the way this way. Yeah, I don't know, you'd have to deal with like somebody
You know, and
saying,
when you're, and if you're saying going up
Stopping.
that way, you know,
Yeah.
that's where all the dragsters and everything,
Yeah.
that's where they,
Yep.
you know, line up,
sure, yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah, I think most people drive in. Those real diehards that are gonna get a sneak peek, I mean,
You never know.
we accept it, but I don't know if there was a way to, yeah.
I'm just saying it's something to think about.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like a check-in or something like that. No, I appreciate what you're saying, for sure. I think there's some people that don't accept, like they, it'd be great if everybody went in and appreciated what was going on. And on the flip side, that people that are at the driveway appreciate the natural area, so,
Mhm.
yeah, but I appreciate what you're saying.
yes.
So this whole request that we're making doesn't just apply, it applies to whomever you all give the bid to.
Oh, absolutely.
And those individuals, then whoever you give the bid to need to make their own adjustments so that so that access is available to the public. That's what we're saying, is that we'd like that to be part of the lease. That's an expectation of whomever gets the lease. But this is public land, and they're going to lease it for recreational purposes, but it is still public land.
Mhm.
And there are always gonna be people who cheat, who sneak around and
Right.
try to.
I know, but
don't
it isn't
believe most-
fair to the dragway losing money, and that's what I was concerned
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
That's a great point. And,
Yeah.
I mean, this is just a draft, right?
Mhm.
Maybe the access is on that old road. You come in, I don't know ownership, but there's off the Boston Road, you kept going on the right, there's a old turnaround cul-de-sac, probably a mile or two up towards, if you're headed towards 69.
That goes.
I don't,
On the right-hand side,
on the right hand side.
where they cut wood in there, there's
Yeah,
just laid out,
yeah,
yeah.
there's a little old landing site in there, something
Yeah.
like that, so.
I know what you're talking
That
about.
could be it, but yeah, maybe as we're having the discussion, and that's a great point, that maybe we work towards access this way, and then you avoid all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, probably a good thing to keep talking about.
Something to think about, for sure.
Thanks for your time.
I think that-
noted, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? Okay, now, we're gonna move on to. My agenda, where's my agenda?
On your phone.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Jeez. I'm not tired or anything. Okay, we're gonna move on to the water, well, there was, we already talked about the funding, so the water preservation ordinance. Has anybody given any thought to that at all, for the water preservation ordinance? The reason I'm bringing that up, and I know it seems to some like I'm kind of overreacting, but I've seen a few articles where other countries especially are coming in and taking our water. And I've seen, actually, it's been two so far. but China was just recently in New Hampshire and taking their water. And I don't want to see we have a really good water supply, and I just don't want to see it. I think we need to be proactive on this. I think this is kind of the way to the future, whereas water gets more and more short. I think we need to do something. And these, I gave out a bunch of these. I probably overdid it. I was overzealous. I gave out some groundwater ordinances from other towns. Rumford seemed to have a really good one. But we have to I think we should jump on this sooner rather than later so that somebody doesn't come in and, before anybody comes and gets there, starts extracting our water. So, I don't know, anybody have any thoughts on that? Anything?
What other towns have been affected besides Rumford?
I know there's also the minerals, what's it called? The minerals, something else with the minerals, and they've been taking those too. And I know down the street, Prospect has been affected by that.
By the minerals?
Yep. And, but the Brownville has taken measures, where Poland Springs, I guess, where they were getting, bottling, they have that bottling plant there, and that's all but dried up. So I don't know what they're doing now, but, and then, in Prospect has also, they've got an aquifer protection ordinance that is pretty extensive. I don't know because this is very new to me, so I really don't know exactly what I'm looking at. I'm just concerned that if we don't take steps now to protect ourselves, that it'll be too late. And I don't want to get into a situation where we're after the fact, like closing the door after the horses gone out, the barn door after the horses left. I'd rather be proactive, even if we're being, a little jumping the gun a little.
How would you monitor, like Prospect, it says can't pump over 1,000 gallons in 24-hour period? How can we monitor?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the things, that's why we needed to kind of meet on this. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten that far into it, but there are things that are in, there are laws that protect that if you have a fire, they're allowed to take the water from wherever they can get it. I believe it's something to that effect. So, I mean, that would make sense. I would want them to get water wherever if my house was burned.
Right, but we use 1,000 gallons, we'll catch it tomorrow.
So, I mean, if it's a fire or something like that, that's a little different. But I'm just talking about somebody coming in, even anybody coming in and just taking the water. You can't, because a lot of people, if I had a pool, I'd want to be able to fill my pool with my water, that kind of thing. What I think what I'm thinking is I don't want to see the extraction of it. I don't want to see somebody come in, buy our land, and then extract our water.
Well, I think
And
that's two different
that's-
things, though. What you're talking about, first of all, is trying to regulate who's buying the land,
No,
because
you're
they have to buy the land before they can extract the water.
But this is what China just went in and did. They bought a bunch of land in New Hampshire, and then they took all the water. So this is the kind of thing, we don't want somebody to come in and be able to do that. Large, if you're filling a pool, that's entirely different. If you're having a fire, that's already regulated. And like I said, I honestly don't know what we need to ask, the questions that we need to ask. I need to look more into it. This has been just kind of,
So basically, it'd be, Mary Ann has.
yes, Mary.
When you buy a house, you don't buy the water, you don't own the water. I mean, you can
Dig your
get
well.
a permit to put a well in, and a
Correct.
septic system in, but you don't own the water that's flowing under your
Yeah,
house.
Well, I just know that there's,
So-
there's,
So it is okay for a town to regulate, that kind of extraction.
Oh, yeah,
The
absolutely.
extraction that would be needed for a
absolutely.
4-family, 6-family house in terms of a well, the flow, that's all part of the permitting system already,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, we have the plumbing inspector and all
Yeah,
that, and they
yeah,
come and
yeah.
make sure everything's, The
So,
way it's
but
supposed to
for
be.
someone to come in and set up a business
does
to
somebody come in to set up a business, that
to
we have to
suck
make.
out the water table.
Correct. Or, yes, that's, I think that's what I'm concerned, I think Rumford had an issue, and that's why they're now, they had to come up with a ordinance.
I think what Mary Ann's getting into though really has, I agree it has to do with this, don't get me wrong, but I think what she's saying is almost overlapping into the area of zoning. Because she talks about a business, just example, she talks about having a business come in and having to make sure that they don't suck the water all out, as you're talking about. But if we don't have any zoning to say, well, a business can come in, but they're not able to extract all the water, or however you want to put it, that
That's not,
That really-
no, we can do an ordinance that you can't commercially bottle our water.
oh, so you're talking about
We can
bottling the
absolutely-
water.
Or extracting our water, you can't do it.
We
That's,
just have
that's
to-
what I'm talking
You'd have to
about.
put a cap on it.
Mhm.
I think I know what Tammy's saying, like, say a bottling company put a well next to where our water supply is, and
Yeah,
they wanted to pump day and night and take trailer loads after trailer loads out, just have to put a cap, so can't take more than whatever, trailer load a day or whatever, so it,
not even that.
Well-
I don't want anybody having our water, that's us, that's ours. It belongs to us. I'm a little selfish with my water. But no, I know what you're saying, yes.
but yeah,
That's
like,
what yes, you're on the right track, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm not talking about businesses can't come in and whatever, but we can say you cannot come in and take our water. Period. Because but if somebody's fighting a fire, obviously, you want them to take the water, do what you gotta do, get the fire out.
And how do we
I mean,
enforce
that's-
something like that?
Wow, business comes in and starts bottling water.
Well, no,
you know,
but-
I mean, if we have an ordinance, they shouldn't be able to do it. I don't know. Like I said, this is brand new to me, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't know anything about water conservation or any of that. I don't know anything about it. But I'm thinking it's something we need to think about, and we need to. And it's like when we got that first field with the solar power. Everyone, why weren't you proactive? First thing everybody started doing is giving us a hard time for that. Well, we didn't know. Well, now I have been made aware in a couple of different instances where water is being taken by other countries and not used on our, for us. And I've been made aware of that, and I'm just thinking we need to be proactive and stop that before it hits here, because it's coming. There's no doubt about it. Just don't know when. In Winterport, everybody thinks Winterport's so tiny. Well, that's one of the things that makes it so great.
So, in terms of enforcement, if you have an ordinance, it's your code enforcement officer
Yes.
that enforces it.
Okay. So,
you'd have to have some kind of metering system, or,
Something.
I mean, yeah, only pumped
Well, I don't
1,000
know.
gallons today,
Yeah.
is just leaving with 3 tractor trailer loads.
well,
so-
like I said, I don't know. I don't know how this would work. All I'm thinking is ordinance. I wasn't thinking about anything like mechanics, if there's any mechanics to it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, Like-
That didn't even cross my mind. You just made me aware of that.
now you got something else to stress over.
Now I have something else to say. Thanks, Corey.
You're welcome.
Always willing to help.
But, yeah,
It's just something I think we need to really think about seriously and start working towards that goal and have it done sooner rather than later. You know, that's my thought. I don't know. Yes, Marianne?
Yeah, so it sounds like you just need more information, and
I need a
I
lot
don't
of
know who-
information.
I don't know who in the state would be a good resource to learn more about how to conserve our water resources, but.
I'm thinking about Rumford and reaching out to them and speaking with the town manager or whoever did that, because they have a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And I'll reach out to maybe Prospect, but I'm definitely gonna reach out to Rumford.
I'd suggest Lincoln.
Lincoln,
Lincoln's got a Poland Springs, once the mill went out, Poland Springs put a Jupiter
oh,
pump
yeah,
station or something they call it in.
yeah,
And I know there was controversy
oh,
about
yeah,
that.
I forgot about that.
That's what I'm here for, less stress now.
Lincoln, that would be a good one. Okay,
Well,
so,
I just want to applaud you for being proactive about this and talking about it and beginning the conversation. And that's, to me, that's what's critically important, beginning the conversation.
yes,
And then just getting input from as many places as you can to see what would work best for Winterport. So-
yes, absolutely. So any other thoughts on that, or? So, anybody want to do anything on that? Any kind of research?
I'll see if I can research the Lincoln one.
Okay, thank you.
Less stress.
Yes, less stress. I'll reach out to Rumford. And,
There's Lincoln calling.
and, okay, so we will talk about that.
So we can table that then.
We'll table that until probably the next workshop. Or do you want to talk about it at the next meeting?
Probably workshop, I think would be easier.
Okay. And I'll try to come up with something, but. Okay. I think that's all I had. Was there anything else that anybody else wanted to mention, talk about?
How much more do we have on the agenda?
This was it.
Okay.
We have the executive
Oh, okay,
session, sorry.
okay, that's all right.
So, anything else?
I'd like to, okay, not about this. If she wants to talk about that, that's fine.
No, I just wanted to comment that I've been attending several of the workshops as well as the meetings. And I'm learning quite a bit how the council works. And I really appreciate all the feedback that everyone is able to give each other, and the concerns like being proactive, your common sense reasoning for the 501 and the Fernell Field. A lot of those things I'm just learning all about Winterport in general, and I really appreciate being able to attend. Thank you
Absolutely.
for all
We
your
appreciate you
common sense.
coming in, because we like to have public attend. We need that input.
Thank you. I was encouraged actually to come,
Yes. Well, you're always encouraged to come.
and that's all new to me. I was not doing that where I lived before. They
Good.
did have these type of things, so
Well, keep
this
coming.
is very interesting.
We expect to see you at every meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been a long day.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yes.
I have one comment before we go into an executive session.
Yeah.
And that is that, one of the things that we really, really need to move up on the agenda is to go back to the winter parking, because that was not decided.
Yeah.
We got opposite, we had some people that didn't like the way that it was written or
Nobody
anything.
likes the way it's
So I'm not sure if they read the second one, that was my concern, but that is something we need to move up on the
I
agenda
don't think
pretty quick.
anybody wants to be in the first place, so.
I say even odd, and they gotta live with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it's gonna be something, we're gonna do a
Okay,
motion.
we gotta do a motion
Yeah.
to.
Make a motion
go
that
into
we
executive
enter into executive session number 1, MRSA.405.6A.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Okay. Your stream will stop immediately and you will no longer be live.
And
I'm working on it. It's shaky here.